It's not without price. He motions for another drink.
Ciara, helps herself to her drink, and she sort of... She takes that in for a moment. Kicks back the rest of the glass, puts it down. Touches the other one. She had the foresight to be like, 2. Yes, excellent. And she sort of strums her fingers along the bar and just... If I hurt her, it'd be fine, but... Honestly, it's just the dreams that are getting to me more than anything. Did you have them a lot when you first left? Like, anything like guilt, thoughts, things like that?
Well, my story is a little bit different. Her influence is concentrated in the underground darkness. Topside is not as strong. She didn't let go. Sure, tell you what. I told her I was sent outside to some school. Sure, my parents had enough of me, didn't know exactly what to do. Practically kicked out of a rather drow school. I was sent to the, it's not really a thing anymore, it's disbanded, but the Star Seeker Academy was an attempt to create bridges between the nations. So I went to school with arcade elves, and a good friend of mine was actually Arceus. And then forest elves like Ciara. Strange gave me name first place. And well, it was interesting times. So I was younger than you would assume when I broke ties. A funny story, actually. My friend I mentioned earlier, he has a condition where he makes too much magic, and so to reach equilibrium, he has to go and launch off a bunch of spells, or else he gets muscle spasms or something, I don't know. And so I was just with him, hanging out, watching him blast off spells into the sky as young men do. And then she showed up. Not brave tread. But I just call her Zell, but her real name is Queen Zelastatel. Arceus fainted when she came out of what seemed to be just mist and fog in the air. And I made a deal. I made a deal with the time. And you see the barkeep just like look up and go to like the bar into the bar.
If the barkeep is like right there when they turn, like here's something else. Tis a book idea. It's very, very spicy stuff.
You see her slowly, you see Tana slowly nod, and then she just kind of keeps going down. Come on over, Kenny. More whiskey. I'll be over here cleaning.
Thank you, dear. Righteous friend.
Lucious just like knocks back the drink and puts it down. Well, no one says it seemed like the best idea. It's rather strange, but I really like where I'm at.
That makes sense, though. Hand yourself over to something else so that you can no longer be in the clutches of another thing. And she sort of pauses. Huh. Reflecting a moment in our present. The mercenaries versus Odo, and it's like, oh, yes, in order to escape one, you gotta make a deal with it. Right.
Wasn't a bad deal, really. They'll just ask me to kill demons. See, devils and demons don't really get along, turns out. She didn't think devils or demons have any place here. But rather they're back home on board the Var where she could handle them more easily. Didn't like them escaping her. So she helps me hunt him down. That's why I'm pretty good at my job. And why my magic's a little, you see him form a mage hand, and then, his magic's, silvery, and it usually has moths, so this, ethereal silver moth forms first, and then turns into a hand. And it's a mage hand, and kind of, goes and pours himself more whiskey. That's why my magic's kind of mothy. But, that's how I did it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. There are ways around it.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Of course.
And it seems that she, is fretting over something as she thinks about it, and she's just and what if she wants more than just for you to be her errand boy and taking out her lost souls? Are you able to say no, or
that's what's
negotiate?
That's what's nice about devils. Farm contracts. They're bound to. And he's like, I can actually show you the contract. It's kind of neat. And then he has he pulls out this slip of paper, and then you see him just take out a dagger and prick his finger, and he just writes out it's an undercommon actually reveal, and then this contract. You assume it's a contract. It's in Infernal, and
I can read that.
Okay, yeah, it's Infernal. Yeah. You can read it too, and it states very clearly there what it is. It's a very clean contract. It's very professional. So at least I know the terms.
The lay of the land.
The lay of the land. I know what I'm agreeing to. But God's a little more messy. Sometimes you get a nice one, I suppose. Here in Lorelei is pretty nice. I don't know. Haven't met many of her acolytes or whatever they are. There's a couple of them. Gundrick. A new thing. But, yeah. Okay.
That's a good idea.
Then he just, rips the paper and the contract disappears.
And, she finishes off her glass, and she sort of, does that thing where, you drag the edge of it, along the counter, just, in a little circle, and she's just, puts it down. Can I ask you a fairly insensitive question?
Knocks back his drink. Sure.
Do you feel loss? I know it's crazy because you can't remember any of it, but before I left, I got a glimpse into what I once was. What I did to go back into the fold of souls before being redistributed in another body. And it had me thinking, I wondered if it wasn't so bad to be able to be part of them. It's a cycle, things are born, they die, and then they go back in, and it just is over and over again. And she's the shepherd of that, yeah? But
right.
in another life I had a daughter and I sacrificed myself for her, much to her betrayal. And you know, when I love my mom, my dad, I love my friends and all the people I've met there. I do love them. And she like looks at Lucious and sort of like there's this little like bared moment and she's like, doesn't it feel like, are you ever afraid of what will happen if you never see them again? If your soul just goes away forever and they continue their cycling on and on and on, and maybe that isn't a bit of a loss? Are you ever afraid you just won't see them again? It doesn't matter and you're conscious because you won't remember it, but I don't know, it's just this crazy thought has been in my head and I can't get it out. And
you feel his hand go and hold yours. It's alright, Lars. To be honest, yeah, I did. I don't like reflecting on that time because it's painful. It's you spend your whole life living one way, thinking one way, believing one way. Families around us and around words to describe the difficulty of divorcing yourself from the ideals of people you care about. Because you love them, but you can't agree with them. So everything's complicated and messy. And yeah, you think about it. Because the contract doesn't tell me what happens when I die. I just keep reflecting on how I simply just couldn't live with myself being the way that I was. But I keep doing what I was doing. So I just made a decision and had to go with it. I might be even more in bored or things get complicated when the soul that belongs to one plane is claimed by a being who is in another plane. Things get messy. So I guess when the time comes, we'll figure it out. I don't know. There's uncertainty in all of it. I can relate a lot to what you're going through. You just have to make this decision has to be for you. There's no, I want to say there's no right answer because I'm not researching.
There's no right answer because you had to find your own, I suppose.
No.
Do you hate them? Not just them, but her too. And she means for your to all the Drow and all of the stuff that they do.
Kind of like, you see him like settle his own feelings, and he's, I don't know, hate's not the right word for it. I used to just seethe with anger and hate and my short answer is no. It's much more complicated emotion than that. Because I can understand why they do it. I mean, for Drow society and all of its rigidity and there's order to it. People have their place. People don't go hungry unless they choose to.
There's a sense to it.
Have a purpose. Yes, there's a purpose to it. We've lived that way for a long time. Some people are fine with it because that's all they've ever known. It's all generations upon generations have ever known. As far as Matriarch herself, I feel like she's just lonely.
I think it'd be easier if I was angry.
Yeah.
My feelings are just... And she, like, holds Lucious's hand and is like... I love them, you know. I wouldn't change them for the world, and I know it's wrong in some ways to some, but, I couldn't be there. I didn't fit.
Well, you're amongst oddballs up here.
And cheers to that. She sort of like does that little cheers to that. Thank you.
Drink up and ready to head back up.
Yeah, and she moves to leave her seat, but just as he's sort of like about to get out of his, she sort of like hugs him.
And he was getting up, and you could tell Lucious is like not super used to hugs, but he's not like opposed to it.
She's not either. The hug is super like awkward.
Like two logs just like placed.
Yeah, like
Arm placement is like cross up. She's not used to them either. They're both like, I hear this is nice.
He's like, wait, you see him kind of like awkwardly like hug you, and then he doesn't let go, and he's like, this is nice.
Yeah.
How long are they supposed to last?
I'm not sure. You want to let go soon?
Okay.
Are we okay? We have enough of it?
Yeah. Okay, you know, he's like, 3 seconds is good.
Yeah, excellent.
Step back.
Yes. Right. Like, it looks like they both want to go for a handshake, but then they stop because it's all like...
And then, yeah, he's like, I want to go for a handshake, and then he's like,
No.
he puts his hands on their shoulders, and he just looks her in the eye, and he says, I love you, Lex. Know that, please.
I love you too. Love you too, Uncle Rian. And she calls him Uncle Rian rather than Lucious because it's what she's known him as.
Lucian. You see, he smiles at that. It's been a long time since he's been over.
Can't have you forgetting now.
No.
You're up there in days.
Hey, I never lost that many marbles.
Well, considering the road ahead, prepare to depart with a few. I certainly will be trying to keep them all in the same bag.
He kind of like looks back at the bar. Maybe we should just more. Nope. No. Already drank too much. And you guys go back to bed. And
They amble back up the stairs.
yeah, and
Hushing too loudly once they get in the door.
well, it's like early, you know, it's pretty early in the morning. Luna, you like wake up a little bit with them, and you're like, I'm back to sleep.
I'm not exhausted anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're actually going to go back in time because this is when Luna goes to sleep.
Okay.
And Luna, as you lie down in the bed, it's a comfortable bed. And by all means of comfort, you should be able to fall asleep quickly, but your thoughts are just full of anxiety. Like, how are you doing? Oh no, can you hold him off? Can you outsmart him? What if you hurt your friend? What if he hurt your friends? What if you hurt your friends?
All the bad things.
All the bad things, like, it kind of boils down to, what if you're not strong enough?
I have 6 strength.
And
That's go well.
you know that. What if you're not strong enough? Memories of trauma come back to you, Trina's death, the feeling of loss and hopelessness, going back to Odo's toxic treatment, Malukia's abandonment. I'm still defeated in this moment, trapped, and I feel like I need to have some kind of music going on. It's all naked.
Sad music.
Okay. This should be great. Oh, this one works. A growl reverberates in your head. Pathetic. Even after your training montage, you're not. Why waste your time? The voice comes from all around you. The dream's hopeless. You tried before, you failed. You look at your hands covered in dirt, muck, and
Elongated nails and
clawed. You'll never make it. You'll never make it the way, the Arno way. Never fit in anyway. Never measure up to Dad. Never be the druid Mom wanted. Never be the perfectly pleasant Lionel. Why try when you already have power? You've claws, you've teeth, strength. Why try a new way? After all, you stuck to being a druid. You beg my Lucia for your druid abilities. You remember the thrill of power. The sense of the hunt. The aliveness of being a werewolf. There's no words for it. You're free, you're no longer prey. And the voice swirls around you and says, give in. Become the hunter. The swirling voice signals to a point, become the hunter. Become the hunter. And you realize it's your own voice. And a second voice. A light permeates your mind. The image of a daffodil fills your mind. And suddenly you're in a field of them. And the words of your ancestors come back to you. The Arnolds have a daffodil in their crest because it symbolizes rebirth. The growl echoes in your mind. What path do you choose?
Like playing the game, like, okay, I got 10 seconds. Timer goes down. Do I have like a visual representation of this? Like,
Yeah. Like, it's more of like a feeling. Like you can choose like to succumb to the wolf inside, or to go like beyond what you currently are and try to become the idea of the Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the daffodil or the werewolf, I guess.
Inside you, there are 2 wolves. One of them is a flower.
One of them has a flower.
Okay, I just have a visual of like an angry wolf and then a wolf like holding a flower. You know?
I'm okay with that, sure.
So it's like she's trying to like just not become a wolf, especially now that she's like in a tight hotel room with her with all her friends there. That could end really badly.
Yeah.
If something happened right now. But so she's trying to think like, okay, how do I like fight off a wolf except with another wolf? So, yeah, do I need to go get my... Well,
It's really more of like a path to choose.
I know. I'm just trying to think of like how mentally she'll do it herself. What like gets her to go on that path?
Okay. You can say that you like think about the safety of your friends and how that's important to you, and you think about like the training montage you did with Elfrida and your grandpa, and how they empowered you. How like initially like you didn't think you could do it, and how through reaching through them and you like overcame this thing that you thought was a weakness. Like for example, the bow. Like you thought you'd never be good at the bow, but they showed you how to overcome the weakness. And
for some reason today, I just see in my mind BEAU to go. But yeah, it's just like she also kind of thinks of it as there's like be the hunter, but then she's like looks at her family and like their associations with the wolves, as well as like the association with like being a hunter, and then she's like, I can be those things and not be you, the evil one that is reckless and mean and kills my friends.
Okay, yeah, so would you say that Luna goes for the daffodil?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you reject the beast. And it lunges at you, but the field of your mind, basically like the daffodil blooms, and all around you have the field of daffodils, and the beast basically like evaporates in the field. And in this field, suddenly the memories of your failures don't seem so daunting. The weight of broken dreams is not so unbearable. You stand in that field of daffodils and turn around to see hundreds of glowing personages behind you. Great Grandpa Lionel with Elfrida, and people you recognize from portraits, your grandfather, your Uncle Wilhelm Maple, and a woman by her side. They reach out with their hands. They say, Luna, you've done well to know that you're never alone. And they slowly encircle you, and with their hands outstretched, they form a chain with like one hand going onto the shoulder of the person in front of them, and then they form a chain until it comes to a single person, and it's your Uncle Lionel, who puts his hand on your shoulder, and then he gives you a kiss on your forehead and says, "Take our love with you." And then you are washed over with this light and feelings of hope. And when you awaken, you feel empowered, you feel better. You touch the wounds on your sides, and the scratches from battle damage fading away with the golden light, because you now have Leonians.
Yay! That'll be nice.
You are rested, and so you can get a long rest in. You have a really bad headache.
Oh. Can I fix that with my own hands?
You can try, but the headache stays.
Oh, dang it. Never mind.
So, next morning. The next day is Leicester Independence Day. The town goes on a hunt into the forest, and they bring large game for food. They bring it into town and roast it on a spit for all to share. You can smell it in the late morning after the hunters come home. Those who remain in town are baking breads and setting up a party. There's music and dancing, and the elders are officially thanking Tabitha, which Luna and Ellie know because she's in your druid circle. And she apparently helped them cleanse the land or something. And the center of town, there's a small stage that's been erected with pulpit and a few runes have been carved into the wood, and there's a small generator on the side that's putting off steam. And you can gather that it's a small magic generator that runs off steam. You can go over and examine it and see, like, add water. Leicester, you see flags adorning windows, and there in front of the tavern, the colors for Leicester Kingdom are purple, green, and yellow, and it has the crest of the kingdom itself is a shield with a stag and a wolf on either side. The town has been apparently undergoing an agricultural renaissance. New crops from other countries have come in: peanuts, cotton, a variety of potatoes. And Ellie, you notice that more fields have been plowed. There's a new building in town. It reads Hillock Town Hall.
Does the town feel bigger than the last time I was there?
Yeah, it feels a little bigger, like they're slowly expanding. And by the town hall, there's like this slate with chalk. It's like not a billboard, like a big announcement board, and it reads Tabitha's Guide to Agricultural Beginnings and Crop Rotation. And then, as you're reading it, the town hall door opens, and this big, burly guy comes out.
What color's his hair?
It's, I believe, brown.
Okay.
And you hear him say, "Look who it is. Smelly Ellie."
Do I? This is Taryn.
This is Taryn.
Did I know Taryn?
Would you tell her about Taryn?
I probably would tell you about Taryn, as Taryn is the boy that bullied me the most throughout town.
He's the guy I punched in the face. No, kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Ellie, you remember a particularly bad memory of this boy, like teenager now, shoving your face in the mud and saying things like "you belong with the pigs." And here
There's a toothless Taryn.
He's like, I knew something stank in town. Looks like you made friends. Weirdos with weirdos. Nah.
The kid realizes a bunch of adults right around him. Big guys, muscle, sports, anything rings.
You notice that the little familiar that was like nearby Ciara that used to be a weasel sort of like crosses behind her head and turns into a two-headed viper. Like, hello.
Hi, Taryn.
So there's like kind of glaring daggers at him. They're like slightly wolfier than usual eyes.
We give you permission to eat this one.
Okay. Yeah, he's just like, what's with you? You look uglier than usual.
So do you.
Yeah, no, Ciara laughs out loud at that one. She finds it very entertaining.
And then from the
Well, yeah, guys, we should just go. We got stuff to do.
the behind. Go on.
I feel like Chianti would go up to Ellie, just kind of put her hands on her shoulder, be like, like protective mama bear.
Excuse me, young man. Where are your parents?
Where are your parents?
Where are your parents? Where are your manners? And more importantly, where are your parents?
Behind you, the town hall door opens again, and this elderly man steps out. Ellie, you know this is Anlo, and the others can recognize he's a type of elder because of what he's wearing. As humans if it's an old human town that's deeply rooted in human culture, they like to wear like these like long necklaces with knots that indicate like how many generations have been on that land. And he has this huge necklace of knots. So his family's been there like forever. And then Anlo says, "What are you doing, Tyrion? What? We got things to do." And he stops and looks at Ellie and he's like, "You're back."
Well, I was worried that he left his apparent manners with his parents, but apparently you don't have them either. So, where are your parents? Probably older than this old man. Where are your parents?
Where are your parents? He's just like, in the dirt. Sorry, that came out cooler than I thought it would. But he's just like,
Tara's face this morning.
just like, "Come, Taryn, we have business to attend to. We don't need to exhaust ourselves on these foreigners." Goes, "No, please do it."
Yes, spare us. Oh, thank you, spared us.
And then they walk off and leave, and you can kind of like understand like what Ellie went through in these instances.
When they were younger, Ellie and then I kicked some of his teeth out.
Yeah. And
The town looks nice, Ellie.
it's nice. Some of his teeth are missing. He has like, it's like a couple like of the front ones. Like it seems like he actually like managed to maybe get some of them replaced. No.
It happened multiple times, so some of them were baby teeth. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that's my
You
new.
knocked out most of his baby teeth when you were a kid. Anyway, you go back to the festivities.
Yeah, as soon as Taryn walks back in, I like kind of like kick the dirt. It's like when you see like the bully or the person that you like hate the most, but like it's only until they turn away and or out of earshot where you're just like, "Oh, it's stupid."
Your face is wrong, and you smell like the underside of a carriage after a muddy, moldy, terrible, old day.
Yeah, I just
On top of dead bodies.
I kind of kick the dirt. I'm like, "You have a mud face." And I turn towards my friends and I'm like, "Thanks, guys."
Ciara says, "Well, it's not for nothing.
And then it's like kind of like kneading her
Pay no
arm
heed
as
to
she's
a
like.
man who can't even provide proper manners."
Luna's like kneading her arm as she has her arms folded because she's like, "Don't turn holes, don't turn holes." She's like,
I would say you guys have met with Kaothi, and I think you'd have enough foresight to say, "Oh, let's use the disguise kit on Luna."
Yes.
So, whoever did the disguise kit on Luna needs to roll a dex or performance check to give us the.
can I roll it for myself?
Dex, I'm really Dexy.
You can help each other.
I have pretty performing.
So,
What's your performance?
+5.
5. My Dex is +4, so that's a little better.
Can I get Odo to help?
No, we got this handled.
everyone's like,
Order says he grabbed a bottle of rum.
Yeah, okay, yeah, like you wouldn't have been able to.
Wait, are you forcing your brother to do makeup on your friend?
Yeah.
Yes, apparently.
I mean, he did go to Bard school, so he would be actually good at it.
I just know
Sorry,
Odo has like double-digit
Your
performance.
voice is nice and your face is smooth, so how about you do some help with the disguise kit?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to, we could say that, Kaothi, and you, like, set up a meeting place in town that was out of the way and did Luna's makeup there. And Order is like, really? Okay. And,
Does it have like a razor so I can like
Christian
strip off the
asks,
extra fur?
I mean,
Is he judging me from behind?
it's more of like, he's just lazy and doesn't want to do it.
Christian says,
That's
well,
fair.
I'll just do it
I
myself
mean,
then.
no, like, he's just like, alright, I guess I'll do it. He's just, he doesn't, I would say he would know, like, theatrical makeup. And, like, so...
Luna would say a little prayer and like put it on his hand or arm, like as he was about to start for guidance.
Oh, okay. So...
please, make me look beautiful.
You could assist by hovering and be like, oh, no. See, you could do this instead. No, that's far too much foundation.
I'm kind of expecting the guy to do that. And to be like, no, stop. What are you doing?
Do you even know what mascara is for?
I like that a lot. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like at the front of the alleyway, like pulling a sleeve to like take attention away from her.
I love all of this.
Yeah, I love it too.
Hi, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you for watching Dungeon Damsels. This is not the end of the session, so please stay tuned for the next part. We update on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in supporting us more, please push the subscribe button, like, or comment. We also have a Patreon, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and our show is in podcast form. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, and plenty of other podcast platforms. Thanks, we hope to hear from you soon.